Check, check, check. Okay, gonna get started. Hi, friends! Whoa, I have so many eggs on my face. Let's take those down for now. We'll add them back as we go on. Hello, friends. How are you doing? Move this. Do I sound okay to you? Welcome back to Zine Dreams, my 12 p.m. Eastern stream about zines, obviously, independent and commercial print magazines, so that we can learn from them and make them great. Good morning, Martin. Thank you for letting me know how the mic sounds. I also host a stream on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. called Attack the Pantry, and we talk about ingredients then, but today is all about print media. Let's see, business, get the business out of the way. So last week on Wednesday, we talked about spinach, kohlrabi, bitter melon. Oh, wait, no, I'm lying. We also talked about, no, that was right. We talked about spinach, kohlrabi, and bitter melon. If you want to watch any clips on this channel, any archive stuff, you can click on the videos link or head to my youtube.com/JENNDLV. You can subscribe there for any archive stuff if you cannot watch live, if you're watching from the future. I've got lots of lovely links below the video here, Patreon, Etsy shop, all sorts of things. I also have cookbooks for sale, the Etsy shop, if you want to check that out. What else? Yeah. Let's just get to the zines, huh? Good morning, Lucius. Good to see you. So today, we're going to go through, put an egg on it, issue 12. Lovely. April's Eating Zine, number 1. And this article that I clipped out from Print Magazine called Rereading the Classics, and it's about typography. I feel like an idiot because I cut this out of a magazine like a long time ago, but I didn't get the middle 2 pages. Like, the middle 2 pages are advertisements, and I'm an idiot, so I need to find the full article. But there's a lot to learn from it. Lots and lots to learn from it for those of us who are interested in typeface and typography. Anyway, let's get to the I know, it's funny. I know. I'm such a doof. Happy Father's Day to any fathers out there. And happy Father's Day to your fathers. And thinking of everyone who doesn't, interact or, or don't have their fathers around right now. I feel for you. And I'm sending happiness to you also. Okay, let's talk about Put an Egg on It, issue 12. So, again, I am editor-at-large of this magazine, full disclosure. We are at putaneggonit.com. These are available in our store. We are still shipping during quarantine, so lovely. Cool. So, as always, we start with a photo of somebody eating something. Always the best. On the inside cover here, we have, this is really good, zombie squash. The skin eaters. When roasting delicata and butternut squash, don't bother taking the skin off. You can enjoy them with their skin. Look at this comic. I have an opening photo here. Giuseppe Conte is a chef from Florence, Italy, who lives with his wife and son in Las Vegas. He entertained friends at home recently, serving this whole striped bass roasted with citrus herbs and really nice olive oil. That's gonna be our dinner spread later in the issue. Read you our letter from the editor by Ralph McGinnis, who I will also talk about later when we talk about typography. Oh, this is the first time I have a byline as editor-at-large. Yay! Issue 12. Made it official. Okay. Holy mackerel. Tins of sardines, mackerel, smoked trout, and herring are crammed into my pantry. Cans and jars of tuna too. Big can of salmon. One cute little tin of cento anchovies. There must always be one. I buy canned fish according to how interesting the packaging is first, and if it's on sale, second. I don't ever go grocery shopping without getting at least one can of fish. I hesitate before opening one, because I like looking at them. I imagine my pantry like the abandoned Antarctic cabin, where tins of sardines over a century-year-old sit and are still edible. Mashed in pasta, broken over salad, and the most sacred act, placed on toast. I agree. Holy mackerel. I mean it. In fact, I had cured salmon on smørrebrød this morning. You know what smørrebrød is? It's a Danish practice of eating an open-faced sandwich. It's usually like piece of rye bread, some cheese, and then cured fish. So I did a big wasa cracker with cured salmon and labne and some savory jam. Yes. Smørrebrød. You can look at my Instagram for that. That's my username, by the way, on Instagram, Ranwiches. Okay, let's get in here. Oh, we had a period of time. I think we have a few of them left in our store, but we have these egg pendants. They're like silver. They run up like $75, but this is our friend Macaulay modeling the necklace. Yeah. I actually don't have a egg necklace. I don't need it. Just cool. Oh yes, thanks Edison. Hey Edison, good morning. I'm showing off our zine. Edison is part of the team as well. So we're gonna just read through the zine here. We have a recommended Stonecutter Spirits. Stonecutter Spirits, founded in the quiet town of Middlebury, Vermont, makes its gin from the same botanical makeup as a commercial blend, so plenty of juniper, orange peel, and then even some green tea for the finish. Ooh. For 4 to 5 months, Stonecutter ages the gin in bourbon barrels from Kentucky, giving a toasty taste and unique color, and making for the best Negroni you've ever had. Ooh. It might have changed by now, but it says they're limited to selling only in Vermont. They probably do mail order now. That's what it looks like. Stonecutter Spirits. And did you know that the reason why a lot of liquor companies or distilleries age things in bourbon barrels, it's because in Kentucky, for something to be defined as bourbon, it can only be used once. Like, the barrel can only be used once to make bourbon. You can't reuse them. And so there's this economy of redistributing used bourbon barrels to distilleries and wineries for aging their product. So that's why you'll see a trend of bourbon barrel aged blank. Lots and lots of things. Even pickles or sriracha. There's a company called Sosu in California that does sriracha in bourbon barrels. Cool, right? Okay, we have another try this. Deglazing is all about concentrating flavors, both in boiling down a liquid to its essence and in scraping up all the good extra bits at the bottom of the pan. So that stuff that gathers on the bottom of a pan is a French word déclacage, or the crusty bits. In a lot of recipes, we'll call it the crusty bits, or the fond, but the formal name is déclacage. So next time you're browning some meat or mushrooms, make sure to deglaze afterward. What you do is remove what you've just browned, take a liquid like chicken stock or wine, and toss it in the hot pan. Very carefully, because wine can catch fire if you have open flame. It will boil immediately. So while it's doing so, scrape up the stuff at the bottom of the pan with a wooden spoon, and add some butter and squeeze a lemon, and you've got a lovely pan sauce. Yes. Oh, Lucius, you have canned mackerel in your emergency stash? Amazing. So do I. I have lots of mackerel. Here, we got our Munch About feature, which is where we ask somebody to walk us through either their week or their neighborhood. So as a street-style photographer for my blog, Men in This Town, I'm out walking through the streets of Sydney at least 4 to 5 days of the week. And if I'm not shooting, I'm working on putting together the next issue of my magazine, MITT, M-I-T-T. Working from home becomes a bit of a bore, so whenever I come across a new cafe that smells great and is easy on the eyes, I'm sure to check it out. And this is a Munch About feature with Giuseppe Santamaria. Okay, so let's read one day here. Aha, here we go. Tuesday. Finally get a day to shoot some street style, so I walk a little bit east and head over to Paddington. I've never been to Sydney, so I don't know the layout. After 2 hours of shooting, I check into a bakery I've been eyeing for a while, Infinity Bakery. The sweets looked quite tempting, but I stopped myself and just ordered a short black coffee. And I must say, it was probably one of the best coffees I had in a while, until I took my last sip and took in a dead fly. Oh no! Yeah, probably not heading there again. Oh shoot! That's funny. We always have these product recommendations also with vintage product design. So this is a fun one. Pineapple lumps. You heard of this? For me, pineapple lumps are little nuggets of sunshine from my childhood in New Zealand. Too yellow and pineapple-y to be natural on the inside, covered with a thin layer of milk chocolate. I'm one of 4 kids, so the glove box of the family wagon was never missing a bag. Whoa. During the summer, they would melt together while we were swimming at the beach. The next morning on the way home from soccer, we dig into the amorphous lump and try to pry what was once a little pineapple brick off the mask. Look. Pineapple lumps. Is anyone in New Zealand? Have you ever had these? Very curious. On the opposite page here, we have Green River. Looks like a soda. My mom grew up in the little town of Plymouth, Illinois, whose population was no more than 600. As children, my cousins and I would go uptown to the square where we wanted Green Rivers. They were supposed to be lime flavored, but they just tasted like melted freeze pop. Local drugstore had soda fountain drinks back then. The Green River was served as in a Coca-Cola glass if you ordered a large. The small was 5 cents and a large was 10 cents. These little towns in rural Illinois all had squares uptown, and we would drive around them on Friday nights with nothing else to do. I smoked my first cigarette in Plymouth. This is cute. Story from Robin Rolder. Look at that. You ever heard of Green River soda? Love it. So green. I mean, yeah, of course we love it. Put egg on it. It's on green paper. Oh, we got a piece here by Linny Carl called Food of War. Just read you the first paragraph. Hummus, panela, peanut soup, almond juice, Palestine pizza. What do these comestibles share? For Food of War, these items and more occupy an intersection of food, armed conflict, and now art. Wow. Oh, okay, I'll read more. The collective was founded by visual artist Omar Castaneda and Hollywood visual effects artist Hernan Barros, and is comprised of several Colombians, a Spaniard, 2 singers, a chef, photojournalist, and a handful of filmmakers. They launched in September 2015 with an event attended by London art scene duo Gilbert and George. Their manifesto was printed on a cake and performed as a song. Exhibitions included an edible piece on hummus as passing trophy in the conflicts between Israel and Lebanon. A video about how the staple dish, las gachas, came from scarcity during Spain's Civil War, and screen prints made with sugarcane ink, depicting farmers in Colombia welcoming police to their peaceful protests with the beverage aqua panela. Wow, cool. Food of war. And we have I think this is a cake or a cookie. Soldier Number 2 in Hunger by Omar Castaneda. You can see that. You see it? Yeah. Wow. Food of war. More applicable today, I swear. Swear, yes. Got an illustration here by Julia Wirtz. This is San Francisco Haunts. Ooh, yes. Oh, love this comic style. Check her out. Julia Wirtz. Okay, let's see. This is about the illustration series that I just showed you. Oscar Wilde said, "It's an odd thing, but anyone who disappears is said to be seen in San Francisco. I'm not sure how to pinpoint exactly what gives San Francisco this mysterious allure and makes it a magical place of discovery and transformation. San Francisco is a port city with people sailing in from all over the world, plus the Army discharged its gaze here after World War II. Standing at the edge of America certainly gives you the feeling that anything is possible, or maybe a dense layer of fog is just a good cover for personal exploration." Oh, I love that. I'm from San Francisco, so that's cool. Ooh. Look at this. Do you know this corner, Vesuvio? Or have you seen this storefront? We have an essay here from Jorge de Casiante called Burgos. I'm back at Burgos for my father's birthday. Right now I'm staring at the door of my childhood home, debating whether or not to knock. Burgos is a dry city in the north of Spain, cold as the heart of my fellow burglareses, and famous for its Gothic cathedral and Burgos cheese, a milky white, fresh wonder, better eaten with honey. When the map of the country appears behind the weatherman, most of the times is a snowflake above Burgos. I was born here. It wasn't my fault. It's a good... You have walked by that place, Vesuvio? Cool. Gosh, I love that. That's cool. Okay, we got another food tip here called the Big Freeze. When freezing any food, make sure it's cool all the way. If it's still warm, it'll form way more ice crystals, which make for a nasty freezer burn. Oh, sorry, I'm pronouncing that wrong. Burgos, not Burgos. Got it. Thank you. Vesuvio is where all the beats hung out in North Beach. Nice. Very nice. Cool. I didn't know that. Oh, so going back to this tip, make sure that when you're putting anything in the fridge that it's been cooled completely, because if you put hot things in the fridge, you have a risk of bringing the whole temperature down of the fridge and defrosting things that you don't mean to defrost. So make sure you cool stuff before you put it in. Okay, what else? We have an essay here from Finn Paul called Cannoli. Ooh, we got another food tip. Blind angle. In the market for a whole fish, choose the one with the clearest eyes. This is true. Cloudy eyes means that the fish is not so fresh, and nobody wants that. And it's got this old fish with a walker. Oh, no. Ah, we have dinner conversation. One of my favorite features, where we have 3 artists who practice different things, and then they're also from different generations, so they have this great conversation over dinner with M. Lamar, Penny Arcade, and Max Blagg. Penny Arcade is a person, not the publication. I will read you the introduction. Waiting outside Penny Arcade's door, I feel nervous to meet her. I've known her name for years from the Warhol film Women in Revolt, and then got to meet her on my first date as a New York resident. I considered it as an important omen. Since then, I've seen her at Gay Shame and Joe's Pub and enjoyed her rants on Facebook. I take a deep breath and buzz. She gives me a long, complicated spiel about how to get from the inside door into her place, and when she doesn't hear me say I got it, she tells me the whole thing again through the crackly intercom. She also asked me to pick up a roll of toilet paper, but I missed that part and go up without it. Penny is a writer, director, and performance artist. She's just returned from a few months in Europe, touring with her show Longing Lasts Longer. Her house guests have used all the TP and didn't pick up any on their way out. Isn't that always the way? Penny's house is a riot of color and art, and I feel happy cooking while she talks. Ralph arrives with a roll of toilet paper, and our first guest, M. Lamar, is not far behind. M is a composer, countertenor, video, and installation artist. I put out a plate of buckwheat baguette, manchego cheese, white anchovies, and radishes while we wait for Max Blagg to arrive. I do most of the snacking while the three of them catch up. Yes, Penny Arcade is a good drag name. Though I'm not sure if Penny Arcade is a drag person. Yes. This is a very great interview. I love these interviews. It's probably one of my favorite, features that we do. Let's see. We have Food Style by Simon. So we got Village Pizza. We do these photo shoots outside, like people eating things. What is your favorite New York street snack? Like, I'm a fan of Joe's regular slice, papaya dog, just for $1. Bacon wrapped dogs. I won't really get a pretzel. I can't eat those nuts, the roasted nuts on the street, because they roast coconut, and I'm allergic to it also. Oh, look, there's our friend Alicia having a hard-boiled egg on the train. Got an essay here from Simon called Whoa. I never would have met him had my mother not picked him up hitchhiking on her way back from the county fair. He had long hair and pretty eyelashes, and seeing how I was already more than a little bit gay, that worked for me. We went to see the movie Belle Epoque and kissed in the theater. Love this. Love this personal story, Simon. Okay, we got a story from Tommy Werner called Red Velvet Cake. Here we go. I'll read you the first paragraph. My greatest cake disaster happened 5,031 miles from home. As a college junior abroad in Buenos Aires, a growing fascination with all things quaint and gourmet really took over. The 24-hour cafes would bring a tray of cookies while you read the newspaper over Tia Maria's spiked hot chocolate. House wine was usually cheaper than bottled water, and the people gave more of a shit about steak cuts than politics. All a bold change of pace from my life at school in Charleston, excuse me. Wonderful. Ooh, we got another tip here. A place in the pan. Don't let caramelization evade you. When roasting veggies, don't crowd the pan. Leave space around each piece. And we got this great illustration of all the vegetables hanging out on a sheet pan. Yes. Ooh. Okay, here's that Las Vegas dinner that I was telling you about. Look at this little kid. It's lost in the fold, but this little kid is kissing the fish. I agree, Nikki C. Soft pretzels don't taste the same on the street like they do in a theater. I agree. I think the ones in the theater, yeah, I think they have just buttery sheen on them. I get they're a little more crackly, and the salt is more satisfying. Have y'all had a Philly pretzel? They're like short and fat and softer, and you can get them at Wawa. So every time I've driven to Philly or Lancaster, I've always stopped at Wawa to pick up like 4 or 5 soft pretzels. Okay, Whole Fish Las Vegas. That's what this spread is called. Got lots of prep here. It's always so fun. Oh yes, lots of photos of people biting and eating. That's our thing. We love it. Let me get a little description here. Here we go. Giuseppe Conte made an Anelli Primavera with roasted carrots, dehydrated zucchini, and ricotta salata. Pesce intero arrosto, whole striped bass. Crostini with chicken liver pate. Rainbow beets and Brussels sprouts roasted in a brown butter for his wife Gina, his son Matteo, and friends Stacy Zadazny, Elena Nerbini, Genevieve, Matt, Vivian, and Everett Wylubski. Oh, and we love a shot of dirty dishes, aren't they? Oh, aren't they dirty? We love dirty dishes. This is what Put An Egg On It's about. It's about, like, real life. Okay, in our recipe section, no surprise here. is canned fish. Oh, Lucius, you grew up in Philly? I didn't know that. Dope. People selling soft pretzels on the side of the road. Hell yeah. Love it. Love soft pretzels. Okay, in our canned fish section, we've got alici and macaroni, which is a, pasta dish with anchovy. We got spicy noodle salad with smoked trout. Faux tuna salad. So instead of tuna, it uses chickpeas. Great. Got egg salad niçoise with sardines. Pop's tuna. Russian herring salad. Oh, wait. Pop's tuna. It has albacore tuna, red onion, and apple. Have y'all put apple in your tuna salad? Dill, mayo, salt, and pepper. Oh, I have most of those things. I just need to get an apple. Thank you, Richard Levy. Awesome. We also have Bloody Mary. Have you ever had a Bloody Mary with, like, a sardine or anchovy in it before? I've had one at Prune. They have, like, 7 kinds of Bloody Mary there. We also got a salmon mousse, cuttlefish salad. Oh, and here's one of my food styling lampoon advertisements. So put an egg on it. We like to make fun of like traditional media, and so we did a mortadella marvel. This is a play on those old 50s recipe cards. And so I made mortadella and put it in a Jell-O mold, and we decorated it with Ritz crackers. This was a fun day. Yeah. And then our last page here, we have a feature of Courtney Burns and Nick Bala, who are from Bar Tartine. This is a very San Francisco heavy issue. Well, now Bar Tartine, they have Tartine Manufactory, and they've expanded so much, and they have cookbooks now. Like, they've come a long way since, what year was this? This was summer 2016, so this was 4 years ago. Wow. I'll read this paragraph for you. For me, cooking for people is the truest expression of love. It's how I've always shown warmth and affection. We all have our individual languages of endearment. Mine is expressed through the simple and transformative act of nourishing people. Oh, I love that. Oh. And we also have a shot of someone's fridge here on the back page. And then we always have a doodle on the back. Japanese festival. I was super excited as a child when the summer festival season arrived. That's when I got to eat whatever I wanted from the street food vendor. Food on a stick. So there are these recreations in clay of Japanese snacks. How cute is that? It's a great way to end the issue. Look at that. And then we always have this cute pattern on the binding here, so that when you put it on the shelf, you can see like different patterns and stuff. Fun. Okay, so that's Put an Egg on It issue 12 in our store at putaneggonit.com. In the spirit of putting eggs on things, let's put an egg on me. Yeah. Yes, cool. All right. Next up, we've got a zine from my friend April Malig. April's Eating Zine, number 1. On the cover here, I don't know if you can see the detail, but it is a bunch of radishes. And you can see that she's handwritten it in a marker on top. Okay, so April is a dope, like, artist. She's also Filipino, like me. And we started off with this, like, sort of 3D Andy Warhol-ish grid. Beautiful. What is the close-up picture? I think it's some of the dishes in here. I'll read you the intro, okay? You may be wondering, April, why did you make a zine? This is just your Instagram. Well, I mean, maybe we shouldn't be relying on a huge digital corporation to preserve all our memories. But also, I guess I wanted to make this because, yeah, I love to eat. Don't we all? I'm not a great cook, but I love eating. There's so much to be, like, worried about in this world, and I feel like having a good meal is a little treasure. Oh my gosh, April, yes. How relevant. I guess making a book about it, sort of extending that ephemeral treasure and sharing it with others. And sharing a good meal with others is what good eating is all about. Except when you're eating alone, that's a good eating of a different kind, you know. So yeah, hope you enjoy this as I've enjoyed making it. April. A few of my favorite things. And she's got this, I don't know if you can see this, but there's this like 3D-esque yellow halo over the happy face in this coffee. Like that's kind of what the visual aesthetic of this whole zine is. It's got like this old vintage-ish vibe with the photos, but then kind of the color filters are like moved just a couple millimeters over, so it has this like 3D-ish appearance. Oh, so dope. Also, we have her info here. This is how you spell her name, April Malig. This was made relatively recently. This was made in 2019. Everyone likes tacos. This is not a controversial statement. I've eaten tacos in Seoul, Manila, and Shanghai. But you know, have you ever eaten 3 tacos off a paper plate on top of the hood of your friend's Corolla in the Ralph's parking lot, Necco Park in Los Angeles, after only eating tacos from Seoul, Manila, and Shanghai? It's the best. It's the best. Oh, these are like really UFO colored. Like, I wouldn't have been able to tell those are 3 tacos unless I read the thing. Of course, Spam. She's got like 4 different kinds here. Cheese, hickory smoked garlic, and Portuguese sausage. Ooh, I want to try Portuguese sausage Spam. Don't be a snob about Spam. Of course, a lot of people know this, aka Asia and Hawaii, but if you have some Monty Python related bias, rethink it. Oh yeah, she's referencing the Monty Python Spam sketch, where there's a whole restaurant that's serving Spam, and people in the UK are really sick of it. I've once told my friend's boyfriend, a person I just met, to F off because he didn't like it, and he had never tried it. Don't be like that. Prepared to its platonic ideal, slightly burnt over rice. That's it. Enjoy. I don't remember her Insta. I think it's just April Malig. M-A-L-I-G. We can look it up in a second. I know, don't you love her look? Okay, so Asian bakery, thick cut sliced white bread. I've also seen this called hotel bread, which is appropriate because it's soft and fluffy. I want to shrink myself and sleep between 2 slices. Adorable. What the plump butt cheeks of a cherub taste like. Serving suggestion, lightly toasted with strawberries and a glob of condensed milk. Hell yeah. Oh, that's such a good idea. Strawberries in season right now. Oh, go to your local Asian bakery and pick up some fluffy hotel bread. Condensed milk and strawberries. I saw Lucius, you got strawberries, so. She says, listen up, I just love pickles. She says, ooh, look at that. Lovely. I love how surreal this looks. It's like neon and like looks like highlighter, but it's food, you know? Friday night alone, eating fancy cake and drinking tea is my favorite hobby. And it looks like she's got a green tea milfoil. Is that milfoil? Milfoil? The 1,000-layer crepe cake. She has a section here called Variations. Okay, here's a kind of weird cooking secret I have. When you're cooking at home for yourself, sometimes bread, pasta, and rice are interchangeable. True. As a kid, I loved cold cuts and rice. Anyway, here is a deconstructed prosciutto parmesan onigiri with a side of vegetables or something, if you want to say it all fancy. Yes, that's the correct spelling. Ooh, you're having strawberries and balsamic vinegar? Dang. Good call. It's very adult. When I was little, I would eat fresh strawberries with just a dish of sugar. I would take a bite of the strawberry and then dip it in the sugar, and it would soak up and then turn the sugar all pink. And I would just keep eating it. There's just like this crackly feeling in your, like crackly, sandy feeling in your teeth when you're eating strawberries. That is so unhealthy. No wonder I have bad teeth. Also, the pasta rice bread substitute is also a fun way to like jazz up leftovers. Sometimes when I have leftover palak paneer, without the paneer, I'll eat it with spaghetti and put some fresh mozzarella. It's pretty good. Ooh, great idea. Oh, that's a great idea. Dang, April, killer. Okay, I didn't make this, but this is something I ate in Bupyeonggu, Incheon once. Check this out. Tortilla underneath sesame chicken. Crunchy, salty, spicy, amazing, delicious. Highly recommended. Good meal memories. And I like, you know how she admits in the beginning that these are from Instagram? She's repurposing them as interesting, you know, in interesting ways. So she's got like lots of cutouts instead of putting it on a plate. She's cut out the actual dish and then overlaid it on a white here. And then used marker to like make these trails. Cute. And then she's cut up the photo in this one and did like a, you know, tile pattern. And then this one is blown up and it's got like another pattern behind it. Like, so there's ways to repurpose the stuff you've already taken for Instagram and put a new filter over it and like, yeah, it's like really cool like digital recycling. Oh, you did do sugar strawberries, Edison? What is it about our parents that, you know, where did they get that? It's crazy. Okay, this is from Izakaya Mew. Yes, it's pretty yummy. Asparagus, shrimp, a little lemon, cutting decadent kimchi cream udon. But also, whenever I post this dish on Insta, a friend who I haven't seen in a while will ask to eat it with me. Just so you know, I'm always down. And I love how it's just blown out orange here. It's just a beautiful mess. If you ever find yourself staring at the buttery eye of a Georgian khachapuri, be wise and eat it with 4 other people. Agreed. Do not eat it with your best friend from grade school in a Bed Bath & Beyond parking lot after you've eaten dinner already. Trust me. It is very large. Have you ever had a khachapuri? You can find them at the restaurant Cheese Boat in Williamsburg or in Brighton Beach in South Brooklyn. There are a bunch of Georgian restaurants there. But basically, it is a pizza dough. Kind of looks like a vagina. It's a pizza dough that is shaped like a boat. And on the inside of the like middle part, they put cheese and a raw egg. And so essentially the hot bread is like baked, and then they crack the raw egg over the cheese, and you're supposed to mix it, and it becomes this like eggy cheese fondue that you rip the boat apart and eat it. Khachapuri with a K. I suppose it's a travel cliche to talk about like going to a foreign country and wax poetically about the best thing you've ever eaten. But whatever, here's mine. I was visiting a friend in Ho Chi Minh City, and we both rode his scooter for like half an hour. I don't know where, but I think it was near the zoo. There's this nice woman called the lunch lady that made the best bo buon hue, or beef noodle soup, with pig's blood and lemongrass and a bunch of other stuff. Sour and spicy and umami and everything all at once in perfect proportion. Bourdain apparently went there. Sometimes food is just as delicious as famous people, R.I.P., say they are. Sometimes you'll never eat something again, but I still think about it. Luckily, I think we can get lots of bo buon hue in California, right? Yeah, isn't that beautiful? And I love this, like, inky, like, inkjet. You can see the roller. Like, I love that. Ooh, just printed feeling. Ooh, love print errors. They're like glitches, you know? Love glitches. This jajangmyeon and tang suyuk combo, black bean noodles and sweet and sour pork, was the only thing I ordered over the phone in Korean when I was living in Seoul. My Korean-American friend wrote me a script on how to order, and I followed it diligently with my address, 737-1, I Apato Il Jelu Il. The person speaking asked me any questions, I just hung up. If the person asked me any questions, I just hung up. That is so cute. Ah, Lunch Lady was on a Bourdain episode. Got it. I feel like I saw that a long time ago. I want to rewatch a lot of Bourdain stuff. How many of you would be interested in doing like a Netflix party of some of that stuff? That'd be really fun, I think. Ooh, it is your favorite soup, isn't it? Yes. We all know the communal joys and veggie benefits of hot pot, but also think about this. Holding your face over the pork bone broth is amazing for moisturizing your pores. Have a meal, emerge belly full, and baby soft. I agree. I love the feeling of a hot pot in my face during the winter. Yes. And she has a list of restaurants that she included in the zine. So great. Yeah, we should have a watch party. That'd be fun. And that's the end. Here, this is her name again. April Malig, M-A-L-I-G. April's Eating Zine #1. She has several others, too. She also has smaller zines, like quarter sheet zines about, you know, being a person. Oh, you don't need Netflix to have a watch party, I think, right? You just have to click the link. You have to just install the browser plugin. Well, we'll experiment. We'll see. Yeah, let's do a watch party sometime. That'd be really fun. Cool. So, sorry, my tab oh, I got some delays here. Yes, Edison, we'd love it. Okay. This is going to be like a little bit more technical than when we usually get on the stream. So I'm an idiot, and I cut this out of an issue of Print magazine, P-R-I-N-T, and didn't get the whole article. I only got the first and the last page of it. I should have checked. It feels so stupid. But there is still lots to learn from the beginning of and end of this article. So it's called Rereading the Classics by Mark Eastman. Okay, there's a quote from Walter Tracy from a book called Letters of Credit, A View of Type Design. The revivals, to which can be added some of the 20th century text types, which Morrison predicted, are still the essential source material for the understanding and appreciation of all type designs. If they did not exist or were discarded, there would be no standards by which to verify our own ideas of what is good and bad. So this is from May-June 2002, when Print magazine, you know, before people started saying print is dead or print is dying or like the internet killed print, this magazine was examining sort of the effect of the internet or the potential of the internet. And it's so cool to see this relic, you know, from 2002, it's now 2020, and compare how has that changed and what has not changed. So there was a lot of stuff I had to Google in this because I'm kind of a dummy when it comes to design. Even though I'm a person who edits a lot of printed material, there was still a lot more for me to understand the difference between print typefaces and fonts, and digital typefaces and fonts. And there is this general practice that internet is mostly sans serif, and that serif has more ligatures and like little ends. So like if you look at the typeface on my lower third here, so that's what it's called. This bar with my name on it is in video terms that is called the lower third. And I'm using sans serif. So it doesn't have little edgies. It's very smooth. We'll go through the differences in a second. But there's some cool historical bits about typeface in this article. So in the 17 years that high-resolution digital serif text types have been available for personal computers, technology has allowed for an expansion of not only a vast quantity of new type designs, but new versions of classic text types and historical revivals. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so here. We've all used, you know, when we were in school, like before Google Docs, we had, you know, Microsoft Word. And so the standard default on Microsoft Word is Times New Roman. So here's the history of that. The early digital versions of Times New Roman is based on the monumental typeface family designed specifically for the London Times newspaper, for the London Times newspaper typesetting requirements in 1931. Drawn by Victor Lardent for Stanley Morrison of Monotype. Blah, blah, blah. So these typefaces, these early ones, like Times New Roman and Palatino, suffered somewhat in the earlier standard ROM versions distributed within system software and subsequent widespread use. Fortunately, the better software and hardware technology, high standards in type production, and the availability of better digital type allowed users to get well beyond standard ROM text fonts. So the limitation here was when computers weren't so complex and fast. Like right now, it's kind of amazing that we have personal computers. Like technically iPhones and Androids are personal computers. They are so fast and can hold so much information. But back then, 2002 and the 90s, like the computers were not fast and they had a limited amount of space. And so, let me hear. Classic text types are defined by their general acceptance as being standards that have stood the test of time for their utility and or widespread use. When digital type first became available with the introduction of personal computers, like I said, many typographers and designers disliked some of the most widely used standard digital typefaces, and with good reason. The limited number of kerning pairs that are built into the digital fonts, limited to keep the font file size down, combined with other variables such as the software program the type was set in and the output device itself, left much to be desired in terms of quality. And it's great that in 2020 now, like, it's just so much more accessible to even create your own typefaces with like InDesign. So it's come a long way, and now that computers have so much more space, you can get real crazy with like special characters, Unicode, and emoji. So I like that I'm like partially reading this article to you and like applying a lot of like new stuff. Let's see. Martin says, I've implemented type systems for a game. What's a GUI? Kerning is the worst. Yes, kerning is the worst. Sometimes. Cool. So it also goes on to explain the difference between old style, transitional, and modern typefaces. And how they were used in print versus digital. Then they have these examples of what it looks like when it's 24 point and what's it called? Actual sizes. Stroke. We'll go through all this. Oh, GUI is interface. Thank you for explaining that to me. Okay. So one of the issues in producing type design that falls into historical revival category is the degree of interpretation involved, including the technology and reference sources used for a typeface design and the type designer's subjective choices in creating a new digital version. As a result, there tends to be many variations between foundries for any given classic font design, each with their own particular nuances and emphasis. Which of these are better? For most typographers and designers, this means a matter of personal preference. Yes, duh. Okay. So, oh yeah, there's a little historical bit here. The latest major development, mind you, this is in 2002, on the technical font horizon, particularly relevant to historical revival text types, is the OpenType font format. OpenType is a joint project developed by Adobe and Microsoft that combines PostScript Type 1 and TrueType font formats into one compact cross-platform. So OpenType is based on Unicode, an international encoding standard, yes. With an OpenType font, an extensive family of typefaces and additional character sets can now be consolidated into one compact font. Oh, so it used to be separated. I see. So programs that support OpenType and advanced features to make use of Unicode can make it much easier for users to add old-style figures, small caps, or special characters such as ligatures and accents. In addition, Unicode can allow for easier spell checking. Oh, important in print design, in multiple languages. Oh, very, very great. So programs like Adobe InDesign utilize Unicode and OpenType fonts, can break a word containing a ligature, blah, 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 blah. Yes, cool. So there's a lot of vocabulary here, like figures, ligatures, caps, small caps, titling caps, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So let's get to some of the visuals here so I can show you what I mean. So I put together all this material. Very excited to show you. So this is Typeface 101 by Martin Silveri. This is on his DeviantArt. So you can see the key here. Number 1, aperture, apex, arc. Wow. There's so many words to know. Head serif, joint, leg, ligature. So ligature is one that comes up a lot, so that's number 24. Serif is 28. So 24, 28. Terminal, vertex, wow. So let's look for 24 and 28. Where is it? You see it? Oh, 24. Here we go, on the H. That is a ligature. Oops, I'm moving something else. And then 28 is the serif. See this little buddy. This little buddy at the bottom of the H in sheet here. That's a serif. So when something is sans serif, it's smoother. Cool. But there's lots and lots of little stuff here. So top line, accent line, cap line, mean line, X height, base line, beard line. Oh, I get it. So anything that goes below this line is a beard that comes off. That's cool. I like that. It hangs below. So body width is a cross here on this A. Character width, side bearings. This is a really cool illustrative guide, glossary of terms, by, what's his name here? Martin Silvertant. Excuse me. That's the name of the person who made this. Ultimate Typographical Cheat Sheet. Very good. Cool. So there's that. And then this is a little summary of the major types. So the article only showed old style, transitional, and modern. So you can see the examples here of what they are, and I'll go through each of them in a second. So an example of old style is Garamond. You might remember that from Microsoft Word. Transitional is Baskerville. A modern, Bodoni. A slab serif. So like, remember what I said about serifs versus sans serif? You see it has these little baby edges, like these little tailies on the slab serif at the ends of every little letter, that's the serif. And so sans serif doesn't have those little ends. So Helvetica is one that I use pretty often. My preferred is Futura, and Josephine Sans. Those are my two that I use on my website. But also Helvetica if I am doing signage. And then we have script type. And then I think the most common in zines, like especially handmade stuff, lots of decorative typeface. This one's called Joker Man. Excuse me. I'm sorry if you made Joker Man. So this image was from Putting Your Best Font Forward. Cool. I think this is all good stuff to know if you're going to be making zines, because I think we have a really cool advantage in 2020 where we can mash up, handmade DIY with the digital. Like, it can look really cool. Like April's zine was a good example of that. Digital photos, from Instagram repurposed to make like a physical zine. Like, amazing. Like, we have such a great opportunity to make stuff. And I think soapbox time. I think right now is a crucial time for us to just keep documenting what's happening with Black Lives Matter, with protests, with just the cultural shifts that are happening. We won't really notice them unless somebody is documenting them. So I think it's a great idea for everybody to like try making a zine, like a small one. Like, just get one piece of paper and like try to make a zine, put your thoughts down about what's going on in your world. How are you getting through your day? It can be therapeutic. Okay, so here is where's Comic Sans? Wait, these are all crossword puzzle clues? That is hilarious. Well, I am here to help you with your crossword. Okay, so this is a first example of a type class. So this is black letter. So it's hard to read due to the complex letter forms, but it is meant to be, it was made from, manuscripts. So like handmade manuscripts. So a lot of like legacy newspapers will have some sort of black letter in their masthead. So the masthead is like the top of a newspaper, like the very, very top, like it says New York Times, LA Times. So a lot of them like emulate this ancient religious manuscript vibe. That's where they get it, Cool. So this is old style, one of the three main categories. This is an example, Gaudi is an example of old style typeface. So this is from the website SitePoint. So it says diagonal stress. So that is a fancy term for sort of being italicized. but not necessarily. Like, we haven't, you know, really kinked it this way, but it's more that it's not a perfect circle or a perfect oval that is, you know, 90 by 90 degrees. It has like a little bit of a tilt, like a little bit of, you know, bendiness. So it moderates the difference between thick and thin strokes. So you see there's a contrast between the stem of the D versus the curve of the lowercase d. You see that there's a thickness there that changes. And then what's the next thing? It says slanted serifs on lowercase letters. So this is old style. So the serif is not like flat like a table, or it's not sitting, you know, like a doorstop. It's like not holding something up. It's like a little bit slanted. It's like a little lilt, you know, but not so playful. Still pretty professional. Still pretty old school. Okay, there's another class here called Humanist. Strong bracketed serifs. So moderates contrast between strokes. Wide and heavy letters. I don't really use these kinds very much. I think it's because I don't work with a lot of titling or like where we have to contrast between two things. Like, I don't have to set it off. Like, a good practice I learned from somebody is to not mix the serif and sans serif too much. Like, use maybe serifs for titling, like a headline, and then use sans serif for a subtitle or the body. Don't like go every other line like different typeface, because that can get really hard to read. But if you're still trying to set them off of each other or separate them obviously, then use a serif and a sans serif. But that applies. I'm talking about like newspaper. I'm talking about articles. It's different for posters and flyers and for websites. So it depends, you know, what are you trying to do? Where are you trying to get people to look? Like, readability is a huge thing about typeface. Well, I mean, it sounds really obvious, but a lot of people forget and like over design. So design is mostly about just making it easier to direct someone's eyes somewhere, either with visuals or type. Because I used to be guilty when I made flyers. I use every single font that I had. Such a nerd. Yes, Lucius, is a good advice. It's to use a max of 3 typefaces in a work. Yes. Oh, German beer labels. Yes, that's the old type. Nikki says, I'm in the layout stage of my RPG zine right now. My brain is going to pop any day now. Oh, I feel you. I feel you so hard. Oh my gosh. Yeah, a serif does look like a foot stepping down. It is kind of referred to as a foot, unless it's a serif that appears above a letter. You know, like a hat. Oh, a foot and a hat. I like that. Let's rename all the typeface stuff like a foot and a hat. Like, all the designers are going to hate me now. I'll be like, yeah, I don't really know if I like the hat on it. Oh, it has a hat. Okay, this is humanist typefaces. Again, sans serif is what I'm using in my lower third here. Influenced by less is more. It's philosophy from Bauhaus. So without serifs, you can see it doesn't have a hat or a foot. Simplicity and neatness. I kind of prefer this class of typeface. Doesn't look cluttered. It doesn't look like I'm reading homework or like an article, like a old stuffy newspaper. It definitely feels more modern. It feels very digital, like very friendly. You can expand it and, you know, and squish it, and you can still kind of read it. That's kind of the beauty of internet type. But, you know, there is room for serifs and reasons to use it. But you can see why this is very, you know, this is default for like Gmail or Twitter, you know, like we want to be able to read it quickly. In middle school, I used a lot of script when I really shouldn't have. It is so unreadable in an essay form. I I got yelled at by like several teachers that told me to stop. Letters are usually overly rounded and slanted to the right, like cursive. So it's based on cursive or current handwriting, but still smooth enough where it doesn't look like handwriting. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, this is a script type. Frequently decorated with flourishes. So these little ends, like the end of the T, the loop in the P, and the way that the R, you know, loops into the I. Those are flourishes. It's like little, like if you you know, had a conductor's baton, like a yeah. Okay. So what else? Oh, so decorative is where a lot of DIY, a lot of zines will be decorative, either with a custom typeface or just plain handwritten. So it lacks legibility and long lines of text. That's kind of the downfall of it. But it creates highly emotive moods for particular products. So how many of you remember, like, there was like a bloody font, like one that has like drippies, like horror movie font? Comic Sans kind of falls into this. Yeah. Or wingdings, webdings. What else? Anything that has like confetti or like party stuff or like textures, that is generally a decorative typeface. Yeah. Yeah, it's so hard to read. How many of you resent learning cursive? Or how many of you did not learn cursive? I feel like a lot of us who are the same age were made to learn cursive. And I think a lot of kids now don't know what it is or like don't know how to read it or write it. When did they stop teaching cursive? I still use it sometimes. You can see that I had these notes from a game I was playing. Yeah, much resentment. Yes. I don't know if you can see this, but like I have like sometimes when I'm in the middle of playing a game, like I'll doodle, and so I write hello, hello, hello over and over again. Yeah, how many of you doodle while you're like waiting or meetings or whatever? I practice a lot of my handwriting. My mother told me when I was younger that I had a boy's handwriting, and so she made me do extra homework on top of what I was already assigned at school. Rude, right? Don't need more school, Mom. Dang. Okay. So, those are kind of the basic type families, and there are so many of them. But I hope that was, like, helpful for you, like, understanding, like, how they work, what are they called, and so maybe if you ever work with a designer and want your own custom type, like, you'll be able to have that language. Oh, again, here, this was The Ultimate Typographical Cheat Sheet by Martin Silversant. Let's see. Yeah, Silvertant, I'm sorry. This was on his DeviantArt page. It's really helpful if you're working with an art director or a designer, like knowing these little words, they're gonna be like, where'd you learn that? From Jenn's stream. Yes. I know, how can handwriting be gendered? Oh boy, let me tell you. My childhood. Everything about Filipino culture is gendered. Comes from Spanish machismo language, because every word, every adjective is gendered. So like I don't know, like words. So rojo, red, rojo masculine, roja feminine. So that's why you see a lot of now identity words that now employ an X. So Philippinks, Latinx. So it takes away gender, or includes more genders, more gender possibilities. Instead of saying Filipino, Filipina, you say Philippinks. That is my cultural lesson of the day. Okay, so I have a few typographers that I know personally, and I want to show you their work, so that you can see, like, is this a job that I want in the future, or like, I don't know, maybe. I have a family friend. I sort of think of him as an uncle. His name is Alastair Johnston. He lives in Berkeley, California. This is his work. His website is poltroonpress.com, and he does a lot of letterpress, self-publishing, and type design. And my Aunt Grace, is a photographer, and so she's done a lot of these covers, which is so cool. Isn't this great? Typographical Tourists. I want to zoom in on that. Let's look at this book. Tales of Tramping Printers. That's a dope cover. You can see that it's what's it called? A decorative typeface here. You can see the yellow above my head. You can see it's a little bit like bamboo-ish. That's so dope. Dr. Nico discography. Ah, that wide disco type. Oh, and you can see here, Transitional Faces, the lives and work of Richard Austin Typecutter and Richard Turner Austin Wood Engraver by Alastair Johnston. Oh, don't you love it? Oh, this is rad. Can't read it, but I kind of love that you can, right? Oh, you see the letters there? It spells press and it's mirrored. Looks like an ink blot. Oh, isn't that poetic? Using letterpress letters to make like an ink blot test 3D-ish situation. That's so cool. Allie, that's what I call him. Allie, this is so dope. Jerome Orgala. Lucia Berlin, Safe and Sound. Serendipitous Books, a memoir of Peter B. Howard by Alastair M. Johnston. So yeah, this is so cool. Poltroon Press. It's a family friend of mine that I've known for many, many years. Last time I saw Allie, I think, was a funeral last year. I'm sorry to be a bummer. But he's part of my family. Okay, so I mentioned earlier Ralph McGinnis, who is our art director at Put an Egg on It. This is from Ralph's Behance portfolio, excuse me. Ralph has his own website, but this is more of you could see more of his examples of work on Behance. But you can see Put an Egg on It covers, like photo layouts of products we've recommended, collage. Ralph has a lot of really cool, like, custom typefaces. You can see this one kind of looks like a spirograph. Like the Salt magazine here. Looks like you remember spirographs, right? Is that plastic thing where you put a pen inside of a disc and you like rotate it inside to make these shapes? It's really cool. This is a flyer for an installation we have called If I Knew You Were Coming, I'd Have Baked a Cake. And so he made a custom, handwritten type for that. But the Put an Egg on It type is original. So Ralph made that. It's like fat and wonderful. So this would fall under the decorative class of typeface. Cool, right? Yeah. Look up Ralph McGinnis on Instagram. He has lots of really cool stuff. I feel like we just started... I might interrupt the music really quick to find this Instagram. We just started a products only. So you remember how I keep talking about recommended vintage products? I feel like we just started an Instagram, right? I don't remember the name of it. Edison, do you remember? I don't remember the name of it. I'll tweet it later. But let's put the music back on. Okay. Lucius says, letterpress letters thing reminds me of looking at Emigre magazine in the 1990s. Ooh, I don't know that. I want to check it out. Emigre magazine. Okay, so that's Ralph McGinnis. Another person that's really, really cool and like innovating a lot of internet typeface at IBM and Google is Stephen Nixon. who's a friend of mine. He has a website called Arrow Type. So these are the typefaces that he's made. Named sans. It kind of looks like a sans serif, but it has like its own, you know, customization for signage. Available on Future Fonts. Recursive. This one is commissioned by Google Fonts. Look at that. So what he does, it's a studio of Stephen Nixon. It's named for the symbols, arrows, you know, the D-pad, basically. They're highly useful and present all around us, from public wayfinding to digital user interfaces, yet missing from many traditional font character sets. Arrow Type seeks to uncover and explore other such undeserved facets of design and technology, from the aesthetic to the cultural. So Stephen does a lot of, like, if you follow Arrow Type and his personal Instagram, he does these beautiful, like, hand lettering videos that you can watch. Like, I can't, like, I don't get how he does it all with, like, one brushstroke. Like, it is amazing to watch typographers work. Like, digital and, like, hand tool typographers. Like, it is so fascinating. So I highly recommend you follow Arrow Type on Instagram. This is a website you can get these fonts. And this is a really cool project that I sort of, like, I'd like to take a little credit for, like, maybe inspiring this project. So I'm going to turn off my music for a second. I have a video for you. I'll take the, I feel like I might, if the volume is too loud, let me know, and I'll just try to be careful with it. But we're going to try something new. It might get a little weird and meta in the stream for a second. It's okay, Edison. I'll find it later and tweet it. So I'm going to, for the first time, this is the very first time this is happening, share a browser window with you, or my desktop. I apologize for how dirty it is. Okay. Well, no, you'll see the OTB, the OBS dashboard that I'm working out of. But I'm going to show you a little bit of a video clip of a project Stephen did. So we met at a sound design studio called 1000 Birds. And our friends, Laura and Andrew, do a lot of sound design for, like, commercial stuff and Google, and so they also love music, and so they had this music series at their studio office, and I would bring food because, you know, you're sitting on the floor of this, like, DIY concert for a long time, and I was like, people need snacks, and so we had this great partnership for, like, a period of 4 years. And one of the regular people that came to this event was Stephen Nixon, and Andrew Tracy, who is the sound designer that owned this place. He was really, really, really fascinated with interactive art and installation, and so I would run into him every year at the ITP like student shows. So, like, ITP is Interactive Telecommunications at NYU, and it's not necessarily all art, but there is a good chunk of it that is sound art or sound installations, and so that's how we sort of keep up with knowing what's happening in this really small niche world. Anyway, so one day we were talking about, like, how could Stephen and Andrew work together someday, and I overheard them. You know, I was butting in. This is what I do. I eavesdrop and butt in. And they were talking about murals and, like, how do we make it interactive, and I said, aha, there is a Conductive Ink that you can get that you can wire up to a soundboard and touch it. And so Stephen, this video that I'm going to show you is a video of Stephen explaining the 1000 Birds mural he made in the opening hallway of the studio that you could play. So cool. So cool. Okay, so here it's going to get a little meta, but can you see that? Can you see this video, this Vimeo video now? I'm going to check this stream. Kind of? Is it too big? Oh boy. Okay. Here we go. Let's try this. I'm gonna maybe put the volume real low. You don't have to hear it. I just want to show you what it looks like. Oh. So this is called Bare Conductive Ink. That's Stephen. So it's this really thick, like, black ink. And so he did a trace of pencil design over the wall. And then you can see they projected it, so it's pencil, and then they painted it in. And so this paint has like metal bits in it. And so when you wire it up, it becomes playable. So you can see the time lapse here. That's Andrew. You can watch the full video on Vimeo. It's called Interactive Sound Mural by 1000 Birds. So this was like super satisfying too. I've played it a bunch of times. They don't really, it's unfortunate they don't work in this studio anymore. But, oh man, they had some really fun projects. Actually, if you like sound stuff, like the 1000 Birds website, otbirds.com, has lots of cool installations, like one synthesizer that's made out of water. They have like a smoke harp, like a laser harp, all sorts of things. So you can see, yeah. You can watch the Vimeo video later to hear it, but there's, look at it. I'm gonna fast forward. Yeah, so multiple people could play it. Isn't that dope? Wow. Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Was that confusing? Could you see it? Oh, there you go. Thank you, Lucius. Oh, can I move the video up a bit? I'm such a dummy. Well, that was the first time I was doing it. Lucius has the video link there. Thank you. I tried. Next time. Okay, let's go back to the original screen. Let's put another egg on me! Fried egg! Bop. Fried egg on my shoulder. Yeah, thanks Lucius for putting that in the chat. Everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope that was very illustrative and helpful for you. Whether or not you want to make a zine, maybe you're increasing your vocabulary around design elements. Knowledge is power and all that. So, to recap, we had read through most of a Put an Egg on It, issue 12. These are on sale at putaneggonit.com. Lovely. Also checked out April's Eating Zine, number 1, April Malig. She's on Twitter and Instagram. You can look her up. And then, this was from a cutout from Print Magazine. It was called Rereading the Classics, and it's about typeface. And it was by Mark Eastman. If anyone has a copy of this May-June 2002 Print Magazine, I'd actually like to read the middle of the article. Such a dummy. I'm such a dummy. Oh my gosh. Next time. This is what happens when I'm trying to clean the house and, I hastily rip things out of magazines. I'm trying not to do that anymore. I have a scanner now, so I don't do that. But cool. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with me and chatting zines. If you have zines that you know about, especially food ones, I'd love to see the link or tag me on Instagram or Twitter at Randwiches. If you spot one, I'd love to order it and feature it here on the stream. I'll be back next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern to talk more zines and answer any questions. If you ever have any questions about zines or making them or making paper projects with your hands, I love talking about that. And Nikki, you should DM me, about your RPG zine. I'd love to hear about it. If you have any work in progress, concerns, or whenever it's done, please send me the link. I'd love to see it. Yeah. I'll also be back on Wednesday to talk ingredients. That's the food stream, Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern. Be really great to keep the momentum going, teaching everybody about how to survive in a healthy way during quarantine. I know it can get really boring and really repetitive to cook the same things over and over again, so I'm here to help you and figure that out. Cool. I hope that everybody has a less stressful week than the previous one. I know that it's a really unpredictable time. I'm a little stressed out about New York City fast forwarding opening to phase 2 tomorrow. I'm not really going to change my habits of quarantine. I'm going to pretty much stay home and only go to my farmer's market. But I hope everybody stays safe and you have less stress in your life. And that you have a good rest of your Sunday, okay? Hang out with me on Twitter and Instagram. Love to talk to you all week about all this stuff. Have a great Sunday, everybody. Bye. Nice to see ya.